Welcome to a Friday Reads, where I talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next. And I was hoping to say I had finished 2 things, but alas, I've only finished 1 thing, and I'm very, very close to finishing the second. If only I was a fast reader. But alas, it does not take me 20 minutes to read 45 pages. It takes me like an hour, and alas, I don't have an hour right now. So next week, you'll get my finished thoughts on that one book. But the first book, the one I finished, the one that you probably already all know my thoughts about, is The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. This weekend, if you're in Jess Owens' Patreon, I'm discussing it with her and Heather. And, I am one part excited, thrilled, so happy I got to read one of my favorite books ever. I've read it 4 times. I love this book. Okay? If you remotely have similar taste to me, you should try it out. Thank yourself later. Maybe you won't love it. But what if you do? What if you are as obsessed with it as I am? Don't you want to feel this good? So that is all to say that I love it enough that if other people hate it, I'm okay. But I literally have no idea what Jess thinks. I have no idea. And she won't tell me. She is on the internet saying, I'm actually not going to talk about this book right now because I know Angela watches my videos. And I'm like, girl, rude. Which, does that mean she loves it? Does that mean she hates it? I don't know. I will soon find out. And if you're in her Patreon, you will as well. Regardless, I read it. It was a delight. I'm excited to just keep rereading the series this year. It was my favorite thing I've read so far this year, easily. It just was so cozy and comfortable, and I really love how that story is constructed. I love the characters, I love the world building, I love the plotting and the pacing and the intricacies and the payoff. I love it. So yeah, if you really want a more coherent review, I've got a standalone review, I've got a series review, I've got an author interview that is spoiler free and it's about the world building. So have at it. The book that I've spent most of my time on, and I'm not done with it yet since the start of this month, it was for the TBR spin, is Future's Edge by Gareth L. Powell, a big British science fiction author. It goes Adrian Tchaikovsky and I think then this guy. If you look at it, the back of the book, it's this person has been nominated and won awards primarily through the BFSA, which is the British Fantasy Science Award or something like that. And I picked this up because when I went on my indie bookstore crawl, this was the only book that I found remotely interesting at this one bookstore in Cleveland Heights that is also now closed. It's not closed because, it couldn't stay open. It closed because the owner was retiring and couldn't find someone to, take it over from her who could afford it, I think. I don't know. We have a lot of bookstores, so it's sad, but also we have plenty in Cleveland Heights. And I also figured, this is a name I've seen around. I've read nothing by him. Let me try it. And this is... So in the thumbnail, I feel like my brain is should I have DNF'd this? Because it's not bad. I think it's very fine. I think this is a very fine science fiction. But, I am almost done with it. And I don't know if I care about the ending. I want to finish it because, this book is a whole 302 pages. So it's kind of one of those things where it's it's so short, so I might as well. And it's not, abhorrent. I'm not angry at it. But, it's so fine. So let's start first with one of the big issues, is that I don't care about any of these characters. The one character I cared about, I don't get to spend a lot of time with them, we'll say. But our main point of view is Ursula. And Ursula is very much a rugged female character written by a male screenwriter. Which isn't bad. She's not an awful female character. There are women like her. I relate to her to some extent. But it's just very cliche. She's a very cliche archetype. So she doesn't feel real to me. She's fine. She's not offensive. But I don't care about Ursula. She was an archaeologist. She touched something she shouldn't have because she was all she was lovesick and then just didn't do her job well, which is silly to begin with that that's the reason. That's such a dude reason. Women do get distracted. That's not... There are so many reasons while doing your PhD in an archaeological site that you might make a mistake, and it's not because you have a crush, but whatever. Like, I don't love Annihilation. See Annihilation for female scientists touch something she shouldn't have. Like, regardless, Ursula touches something she shouldn't have. And so she gets this alien parasite. At the same time, the end of the world is happening, and a universe extinction event is occurring. And she finds out 2 years later from her ex-boyfriend that she might be the way we can stop all of this. So we already just have, we are in a story in the most convenient place with the most convenient intersection of people. She so happens to know the last man standing who's defending the galaxy, and he happens to know the person who touched the alien artifact that might save the day. Fine, whatever. It's very fine. It's very video game logic fine. She's just not as cool as Aloy, right? It's just that sort of thing. And then there is a mind ship that I find pretty cool. Chris is kind of cool, but we don't really get her perspective often. And again, she feels like a weird female entity written by a man, but again, not offensively, just it doesn't feel real. I don't know. I mean, it's not like the male characters feel really real. We just don't spend a lot of time with them. What's his name? Jack or whatever? I don't know. There's a dude. He's not even on the back of the book. And so the whole book is about we need to save the day from these things called the Cutters. And the Cutters are kind of explained. Why things are happening is kind of explained. But it just doesn't. I don't feel the urgency. This is the future's edge. This is the end of the end of the end of the days, and I don't feel the urgency. And I don't know if this book could make me. I think this is a fine adventure story. I don't think it's doing anything wrong. I think on the tin it wants to be a stereotypical, cliche adventure science fiction story. I think that's what it wants to be. I don't even think it's doing it badly. I just don't think I wanted it. But then I got stuck into the whole sunk cost fallacy of this is 300 pages. So here I am, reading this 300-page book, and I'm almost done with it. And so, I'll probably finish it. I'll also say something I don't like, for sure. The way that the characters are, processing trauma and grief. The amount of trauma, PTSD, and grief makes sense. But how it's being processed and dealt with feels very people who go to therapy, talk like they go to therapy. And, I do that a little, but it's, obnoxious when people, myself including, do that. Yeah, the book's doing that, and I don't love that. It's fine, but it's just, it's just either all cliche archetype characters from, a video game, or weird, philosophizing about where people are and why they haven't moved on and why they're mad at themselves. And, it's fine. So anyways, I'm gonna finish it. And if you like adventure science fiction, this could be just a very fun, adventurous time for you. It's got some interesting imagery. It's, at least so far, relatively well thought out. But, it's not groundbreaking. It's not, I don't know. The back quote from M.R. Carey is crazy inventiveness, vivid characters, and enthralling action. This is thrilling, joyous stuff. Yeah, maybe it's thrilling, but I don't agree with the inventiveness or the vivid characters. And then the front of it we have an Adrian Tchaikovsky quote, fierce action, ingenious sci-fi ideas, and an intriguing cast of characters. An excellent read. Again, I think the only thing I agree with is the fierce action. I don't think these are ingenious science fiction ideas. I think there's something slightly novel about it. And, I will say, for the page count, it's, lived in. The world is kind of, well constructed, but I don't know. It's not been that interesting to me. I've also been reading The Origin of Others by Toni Morrison. I've read the first 3 or 4 essays. I do think sometimes my brain feels too dumb for her prose. Which is not real. I am not too dumb for her prose. But I do sometimes feel like I'll read a sentence and I don't know what it means. And that is a me problem sometimes with certain styles. But I am interested in a lot of these. I've been reading about an essay a day. I have book club for it this time next week. And I think it'll be really useful to talk about it at book club and really like maybe pick apart each essay. I just read one that's about like colorism in fiction, and I really enjoyed that one because for a long time I've always felt like I couldn't put into words certain things that I felt while reading certain depictions of different types of characters. Like, I think a classic example for me is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which I do like. Like, I give it 4 stars. Like, I don't hate Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. But it has a black character in it. But you really aren't told in any real way that he's a black character until a really jarring scene later on where he, like, says something to the house. Like, maybe she says his skin color or something like that. But, like, there are no, like, demographic cues other than maybe mentioning his skin color and this one line he says near the end of the book. And I found that very jarring because, like, his job as a detective in New Haven, Connecticut, he would not act the way he does. Like, he should not feel the same as a white person in the position that he is as a black person. And, like, I feel like reading this essay by Toni Morrison really helped me, like, be like, yeah, like, there are different cues for determining things, and using just skin color inherently means you're probably not doing grounded character work. And it was really interesting reading about her different, like, exercises in her own works of fiction. She talked about the one short story that's, like, infamously known for the fact that you can read both characters as white or black, and, like, that's kind of the point. So that was just, like, really interesting. I think that's been my favorite essay so far, probably because it, like, plays with an idea that I've never been able to, like, verbalize even in this video. So that's something I'm reading for book club right now. And then, let's see, I think I'll talk about a short story I read. I read this short story called, and I wanted to like this short story more than I did, but it's called The Piano Player Has 8 Arms. And, like, silly me, I was like, ooh, piano player, because I love piano. I play piano. One of my favorite short stories by Carlos Hernandez is about, like, the Fantasy Impromptu by Chopin, which is a piano piece I love. So I was like, piano player, 8 arms, made me think of Gattaca, the people with, like, the 12 fingers, and they can only play... I was like, this should be fun. It's an octopus, which is fine. I really should have known it was an octopus because, 8 arms. I think my issue right now, and honestly, I haven't read nearly enough of these works to even say what I'm about to say, but I feel like we have been using in sci-fi octopuses, I don't remember the plural of it, is like, we know that they are intelligent in ways that we do not measure. And humans are bad at being like, other things are intelligent, even though we cannot measure them with our assessment tools. And it feels like the octopus is like this easy metaphor for other sentient life and how we don't treat them well, how we might treat other sentient life in the future. And I just feel like sometimes that means you're not going to get a very interesting story out of it if someone doesn't push beyond that. And for me, that's how this short story felt. Like, it just, the minute I realized the piano player was an octopus, and, like, once I was in this bar scene where we have a bunch of people who are overworked, I was like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing. And then it didn't really surprise me, and it didn't do anything really that different. It was pretty short, so, like, it didn't overstay its welcome. But I don't know what I took away from it. So it was fine. So, I've been reading a lot of, like, fine things besides The Mask of Mirrors, which was glorious. And now I have started Slow Gods. That's been my audiobook. Man, I wish I had access to a physical copy. A physical Orny copy. Oh, I wish I could, because, like, there are a lot of names and words and pronoun usages that I'm like, I don't know how to spell any of this. And the audiobook is good. I got that through Libro FM. Link to Libro FM down below if you would like to support a non-audible type thing and, give money to your local bookstore. I do that. It's linked to my Hexagon bookstore. And so I've had to re-listen to parts of chapters pretty often so far to be like, wait, where, who, what? Just to get names. It's just like proper nouns, pronouns. Those are the things that I'm struggling with. But I am, like, interested. This is a very interesting story so far. It's somebody telling their own story. And you're kind of told that they will die, and they're telling you, like, the first part is, this is how I died, and they are a imitation telling their story, and you're like, wait, how did we get here? Who are you? Why are you important? So that's, like, the intrigue, and I like the intrigue, and, like, it feels like a legend telling their story, and the world that they're from is so dystopian, so like worse capitalism than our capitalism. It reminded me a little bit. There was like this mediocre, bad, but also, you know, innovative sci-fi movie with like Justin Timberlake and everyone had clocks on their arms. And it reminded me of that because literally when our main character is born, instantly he has debt and everyone carries this debt. And it's like a very hyper capitalistic bootstrap type world. And he's telling the story of how he died in this first part, and I'm learning about this world and the class system and how people aren't listening to this news and this like slow god or slow who shows up. And so I'm curious. I'm very curious. It's generally working for me. I do think that I will have a good time with this. I just wish that I had a reference for the proper nouns because my retention for new names is better with a visual cue. Unfortunately, that's just how my brain processes things. But I am cautiously optimistic. Might listen to it a bit after I film this while I shovel snow. Because I have to shovel snow. Yeah. Not excited about that. What is going to be my physical read after I read this guy right here? That's a good question. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. What was even on my TBR? Let me pull up that TBR real quick. I have it right here in front of me. Do I keep going down the sci-fi path? I might need to switch it up, right? I've been reading a lot of sci-fi. And we're about to get to the weekend. It's going to be a fun ice skating weekend, let me tell you. So I'm staring at my list, and of the books on my list that I think I might want to read, I think I should try out Nightshade and Oak. And if I'm vibing with it, keep going with it. And if not, then I'm going to switch to the Ukwe-Kiyomizi, Son of Morning. And then if that's not working, I'll try the T. Kingfisher, Hemlock and Silver. Because I do think I should hold my roll on sci-fi for just a minute. just like a little minute. And then I can get to These Burning Stars near the end of the month. I think that's the tentative game plan. We'll see if next week I've gone off the rails. Who knows? And tonight we're going to finish Fallout Season 2. I think it's the end of Fallout Season 2. I'm pretty excited. We've been having a really good time with that show. And then I'm going to get Apple TV to watch Shrinking, because I love that show. Oh, I love Shrinking so much. But that's this video. If you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, leave an ice skating emoji, because that's all I'm doing this weekend, is I'm going to watch ice skating at the Olympics, because team events are this weekend, and I'm going to have fun. What are you going to be reading, doing, watching this weekend? Are you excited for the Olympics? What's your favorite sport? And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.